fake begs to be liked. When people expect for you to beg to be liked and you don't do that, that's when they start in with you think you're better than other people. You see, these people want you to beg to be liked, to fit in, and you're simply not willing to do that. You're not willing to be fake with people who are not genuine with you. You see, there are some people, they're so hard up, so desperate for friendships, for relationships, that they're willing to fake it to make it. But you are not that kind of person. You see, you value your time, you value your energy. You are not willing to play fake with anyone. Let's be real. As women, the more mature you get, the more focused you become on your own life, you just don't have time to perform for the others. Some people live their life in a constant state of performing. In other words, being fake. See, when people have jealousy and envy and animosity towards other people, they become masters at being fake. They form a whole lot of friendships, a whole lot of relationships based off of being fake. But you're not willing to do that. And because you're not willing to be fake with other people, you might end up being the lone wolf. And this is my opinion, but I believe that people who have these huge groups of friends, huge groups of women, these big girl groups, they always have this tribe. There's not many genuine people amongst that tribe. They're often acting fake. They're often performing for whomever they're around. That's why you see women especially, they tend to morph into the personality or the likeness of whoever they're around at the time. If they're hanging out with their sophisticated friend, they become like the sophisticated friend. If they're hanging out with the hood friend, they start using more slang and urban terms in order to blend in with them. If they're hanging out with their caucus friends or Asian friends, then they want to make sure they identify with things that are pertinent to that culture. You see, women who are masters at being fake and they just morph into whomever they're around at the time, those are your women who will take issue with authentic, genuine women, people who are not willing to be fake in order to blend in with other people. See, you can get to a certain point as a woman, as a person, that you're tired of performing. And I think for many of us as women, we might have been at one point, especially in your teen years, maybe your 20s, where you felt like you constantly had to perform. Where you constantly felt like you had to perform in order to be liked. In order to be liked by this person, okay, I see they're kind of monotone and very, very down, very depressing, very dark. So I have to act very down, very depressing, very dark, very hopeless. Or you're around this person and they're overly, extroverted and they're, kind of ditzy in a way, in your opinion. So you try to do that thing. And then you're around this person, you try to do that thing. And you get to a point and you realize, you know what? I'm going to just be me. And whoever gravitates to me, then we will just be one together. But until my tribe finds me, I am not going to fake the funk, especially with people I have no interest in being around. And you see, that's the worst feeling. When you are not, eager to be fake with other people, they dislike you because they see the disconnect happening. What do I mean by they see the disconnect happening? If you're a woman who refuses to be fake, you're just genuine. It's like if somebody says something and you don't vibe with it, if somebody does something and you don't like it, you just don't like it. You just don't vibe with it. And that doesn't mean you throw away the whole person, You might still be trying to form a bond with that person or relate to them. But after so many interactions, if you're noticing that, okay, me and this girl don't have anything in common, her attitude kind of rubs me the wrong way, her demeanor, her character, I'm not vibing with it, okay? I don't hate her, I just don't like her, don't feel like being bothered, and I'm good. Then some people will look at you like, well, why did you stop talking to her? Why did you stop doing this? Why this, why that? Sometimes there's no explanation that's needed. If you're not willing to be fake and tolerate things that you don't have to, that should be good enough. And some people expect for you to bend and be fake in order to just make everything go smoothly. I'm convinced that some people, most people, like to be lied to. And I know that might sound crazy. There was this show on a while ago, I think it was canceled. It was called Lie to Me. I really think that people don't realize that they really like being lied to. You know, because people are so pressed to be liked and they don't want anybody to dislike them, it's like many people have adopted a fake persona in order to get attention that is not going to last anyway, because it's based on fake bonds, if that makes sense. It's like, can you imagine performing and going out of your way to connect with the audience, with people you don't even like, simply because it seems like that's what you should be doing? That's what a lot of women do. And then they get jealous and envious of the said women whom they're trying to get the attention of, because they find out those women are not as fake as they are. They find out that those women are not willing to say they like something when they don't, or they're not willing to tolerate a nasty attitude because they value themselves. So instead of hurting your feelings down the line, they rather cut their ties in the beginning. And then people will say, okay, well, you're mean. You know, some people accuse you of being a twitch, but switch that out with a B. All because you're not willing to be fake. Fake is not desperate to be liked. You know, fake is desperate to be liked. People who are genuine, who are authentic, are not desperate to be liked. You know, whether people like me or not, I love me. God loves me. And I know that. And while I'm not saying you should be aiming to get people to dislike you, but whether you try or not, people are not going to like you. Everyone is not going to like you. You are not going to be everyone's cup of tea. And I think, you know, some people might be thinking, well, this is elementary. You know, we should know this as women. You'd be surprised that many women, and I see this, especially being on YouTube, I feel like this message needs to be reiterated. You know, these are messages you would think, you know, your mother would tell you this, you know, everybody's not going to like you. But I've seen enough crying TikTok videos and crying YouTube videos to know that a lot of women are not operating from that feminine queen energy, that self-validated energy, that God loves me energy, that they still cry and get upset because they don't like me. And you got to understand, and forgive me for putting on my mom voice, but baby, you got to understand that the more real you are, the less some people are going to vibe with you, because this world values the fake. They want to be lied to. And that's just the way it is. And if you're not willing to say, I like everything that they put before you, that, oh girl, you're right. If you're not willing to constantly appease the masses, especially other women, because I see this with women and female friendships, and the signs of jealousy and envy and misery tend to be everywhere, sprinkled about in female friendships, the more you, or the less you appease them. And what I mean by appeasement is when you don't tell people everything they want to hear, oh, they're not going to like you. See, because you're not desperate to be liked, because fake begs to be liked, and you're not willing to do that, they will say that, oh, you're so mean. Oh, you're so cold. Why did you have to say that? Why did you have to do that? It's because I'm a genuine, authentic person, and I don't like what you're doing to me. I don't want to deal with your nasty attitude. That is not indicative of who I am as a person. We are not vibing well, and that's okay. Everybody's not going to like you. And the more fake you are, the more people you will have around you, unless you are in a space of influence. Okay, I want to make that clear. If you're a teacher, if you're a motivator, if you're on YouTube, you know, things like that. But I'm talking about your everyday person, your average woman. And I believe that saying to be true, that the most realist women don't have a lot of friends. And I'm not saying that because it's a cool thing to say that I don't have a lot of friends, I rock alone. I'm saying that because I truly believe that's what it is. I've been in enough social circles around enough different types of women to know that some of the most genuine, some of the most kindest, some of the realest women that I have met and know don't have a lot of friends, and they're definitely not begging to be liked. And they will most certainly walk away from or put one in their place if they are trying to make life hard for them. But your women who tiptoe around everybody's feelings, thoughts, and emotions to their own detriment, those women are the ones who suffer the most because they're begging to be liked. And they're willing to bend their own personality, their own will, their own wants to make people who don't necessarily even like them feel like they want to be liked. If that makes sense. It's that desperation. Fake begs to be liked, but you are not fake. You are authentic, and some of the most authentic women are not going to have a whole tribe of people around them unless you are in a space where you are influencing, impacting, or encouraging other people. If you're around like-minded women who get it, then yes, you will have those friends. But in your average everyday life, I will say in my average everyday life, I do not have a lot of friends. I surely don't. I have a lot of people I know, and they know of me. I have enough people in my life who kind of know about me enough to know that I haven't seen her here in a while. I haven't heard from her at this point, that kind of thing. But I don't allow too many people into the deep inner workings of my life because I value my peace. And then also, I'm not willing to be fake. When you're a woman who is not willing to let down her morals, her boundaries, her standards, her spirituality, her beliefs, in order to make a friend or a companion, you might be by yourself for a season, or you might have people trying to make you feel weird, all because you're not pressed and trying to change yourself so that you can be liked. I am not saying that there aren't times when, you want to relate to other people. And I'm not talking about relating to people in order to help them and them help you and then to actually genuinely be friends. I'm talking about so desperate to be friends or begging to be liked by people who are superficial and shallow and have nothing to offer. You see, because you're a woman who is not begging to be liked, normally it's because you crave something deeper. You crave something deeper than just superficial nonsense. You crave something deeper than just, oh girl, what we wearing today? Oh girl, what did Cardi B do? What did the Braxtons do? What did everybody else do? Like, you crave something deeper than just pop culture and a cute look. While I think looking cute, looking your very best, I think that's important. But relationships, especially female relationships, should be deeper than that. There should be some kind of growth happening. And I believe that is part of the reason why you have so much jealousy, envy, animosity amongst women, because women are not really forming bonds. They're forming aesthetics. They're forming relationships based on aesthetics. They're forming relationships based on what it looks like to the outside world and not really what it is. There were times when women would want to be friends with one another because they are encouraging and inspiring one another, not just trying to have a cute look and have the tea on everybody else. Jealousy, envy, and insecurity has made very much, these friendships among women, they get very desperate to be liked because it's all based on superficial nonsense. And when you're not fake, you crave something deeper. You want to be around sisters, around women that you can learn from, that they can inspire you to be a better woman, and you can do the same for them. You want to be around women who are not going to encourage you to leave a bad situation just because you hit a rough patch. You want women who have discernment and wisdom in their lives, who will teach you how to work through some things and not always just, well, girl, just trade them in. Girl, just do this. Get back to get back. The messy, lackluster advice that has a lot of women very broken. So if you're not willing to be fake, if you are authentic and you crave something deeper, you want women around you who are not going to constantly tell you what you want to hear, but tell you what you need to hear, because it's going to make you better. I don't know about you, but I can't stand a yes man. A yes ma'am is a person who tells you whatever you want to hear, despite it not being really the best thing for you. And that's another part of our fake culture, the fake culture of just so eager to be liked that you tell people anything they want to hear. I am not a fake or a phony. If you ask me my opinion about something or my advice, I'm going to tell you what I believe you need to hear, especially when you ask me. Let me sip some of my water because my mouth is getting dry. Appeasement. You're not fake. Fake begs to be liked, and you are not desperate to be liked by anyone. If you are a woman who has wisdom, discernment, good old common sense, and you are not desperate to be liked by other people, there will be people who do not like you. It just comes with the territory. This world, I am genuinely believing, likes to be lied to. They want to be told they look cute when they don't. They want to be told they don't need to lose weight when they do. They want to be told that their man is a good man when he's not. They want to be told that their man is a bad man when he's not, just a regular person. I'm just using these things as examples, but it's crazy. Fake begs to be liked, and you're done performing. I'm done performing. I am not a performer. What you see right here online is me in person. Except I can't talk to just everyday people this way because people have things to do. So I get online and I talk this way. But I'm being a little funny, but the honest truth is that when you're a woman that craves something deeper, you're not going to have a whole lot of people around you who wants that, because the world values fake and they want you to be so desperate to be liked that you become fake. Authenticity will always win. Babe, I'm getting tongue-tied. My goodness, let me stop the video. Fake does not beg to be liked. When you are genuine, when you are a real person, you're not interested in being liked by everyone. The people who are for you and meant to be in your life, they will be around. All right, let me end it now. Like and subscribe to the channel and share this content. Hit the notification bell so that you're aware when I post a brand new video. If you watch this video until the very end, put the high heel emoji in the comment section. I absolutely love to see it. Take care.